guys, it's Carl from GuitarBreakdown.com, and today I'm here with the Andrews Para Dyne 50. It's an all-tube, 2-channel, hand-wired head, and it's got great features, great sounds, from clean to dirty. The clean is nice and sparkly, and all the way up to real heavy lead sounds. Also, taking a look at the 212 cabinet that matches it. So. The features on this amp, it has a channel 1 volume, which is strictly clean, and does not interact with the master for the dirty, so you just balance between this knob and the master on the dirty channel. Okay, so going across, we've got the a depth knob here for channel 1. This really adds a lot to the low end, helps you balance your clean sound with your dirty as the volume goes up, so that it doesn't get too thin on the bottom. So moving across, we've got channel 2 gain. So this gain knob has a lot of useful settings. On the lower side, like 4 and below, you get just kind of the classic overdriven sound, and moving into the middle area, 4 to 7 or so, you get sort of a more aggressive, like hot rodded vintage sound. And you move to the top side of it, and you get real heavy lead gain, so pretty silky smooth. Okay, so a lot of good range there. And then on the EQ side of things, we've got treble, mid, and bass. Standard stuff, but they're very effective knobs. They do a lot to really enhance the sound on this particular amp. They work well. Moving across to the end, we've got the channel 2 master, so this is where you just balance this with the sound of your clean, your level of your clean sound. So also on the back of this amp, there are a couple of cool features. This one came with the optional effects loop, which I'm just going straight. I'm not really giving you any effects loop sounds on the samples today, so we just want to hear the pure amp, but it is a really cool option. It has a buffered series effects loop. Also on the back, there's a bias point adjustment, so for do-it-yourself tech types, you can adjust your tube's bias when they drift out, or reset your bias when you have to change the power tubes. So moving also across the back, there is an extension jack and main output, so you can hook a couple of speaker cabinets to it. So anyway, really useful feature set. This amp is very practical, but also has a lot of great possibilities with the features that it has. So let's just check out some more sounds on this amp. Okay, so let me tell you just a little bit about the signal path today on this recording. You're hearing two SM57s that are real close to they're right up to the grill cloth on the amp, pointed you know, at the speaker just off the dust cover on each side. There's two different speakers, so I am miking both of them. One of them is a 30-watt vintage style speaker, and the other's a 65-watt with a little more modern characteristics. So to enable you to get an idea of what the cabinet sounds like in person, I wanted to have them both in the speakers, and they're panned pretty much hard left and right. Those two Shure SM57s are running into a Motu HD 896 or 896 HD. And then that is running into MacBook Pro with Cubase 4. So that's the signal path. Some of the parts of the video I'm going to add a little bit of reverb for sonic sweetening. Okay, so the amp is real dry in this little small room, and just that little bit of reverb will kind of help you know, give you a sense of space. Because the close miking is extraordinarily dry, but it is pretty faithful about the sound of the amp. Anyway, so the guitars that I'm using to demonstrate the amplifier are two different Stratocasters. This one is a 57 reissue, vintage series, American vintage series, with the ash body and the maple neck, and the pickups are DiMarzio Heavy Blues 2, and the neck and middle pickup is DiMarzio Area 61. Okay, so really good single coil sound with hum canceling. Okay, so that's what you're getting here, and let's just kind of hear the amplifier with this guitar going into the clean sound, clean channel. With that clean channel, I'm at a real modest volume right now. It's I mean, it's pretty loud for home use, but the amplifier is capable of a lot more. I'm at about 3 or so on the volume. Real pretty and sparkly with the Strat. The depth knob I've got on the middle setting, C, so if I wanted more bass I could turn it up a little bit more. And you probably can't really tell so much about that unless you're here with the cabinet, but it does give a lot of nice low-end womp to that clean sound, make it match up nicely with the distortion settings. Okay, so now with the distortion channel, let's hear some of what it has to offer real quick. And okay, I had it set pretty high there. Let me turn back down. So the volume on the master I've got set at about 3.5, so pretty modest again. Loud for home use, but not really quite gig loud. But I do want it to be loud enough so you can hear what the amp can do, get into the tubes just a little bit. Okay, so the channel 2 gain knob I've got right now, I've got it at about 4, which is a good classic overdrive sound. Probably my favorite setting on this amplifier, especially for the dirty sound. It's just really useful. Real nice clean sound to the chords. You can play your chords and not just play power chords. You can play chords with more notes in them and still hear everything. So I actually just switched over. I didn't even change my EQ settings, which is kind of cool because you can match it up pretty nicely with your clean channel. Sometimes you have problems with that with channel switching amps where the EQ for the clean is just what you need is so drastically different than the dirty channel. So this works really well to kind of round out. Using that depth knob, you can get the clean channel to sound nice and warm, and then just have your distortion setting nice and tight. So it works really good. So right now I've got the treble on the EQ set to 7, the middle set about halfway, and the bass at about halfway. The middle, sometimes I do like to kick that up just a little bit though for distortion, so let's hear that. Okay, so it gives it, you know, the notes some girth, I guess you would say. All right, so let me just kind of demonstrate a little bit more on the overdrive. So that was sort of the classic, middle way kind of thing. If I turn up a little bit more on the overdrive, you'll hear it gets heavier, so a little bit more like hot rodded vintage sound. Okay, so let me turn it all the way up. Okay, so full gain gives you a pretty aggressive sound with this amp. You can get really heavy rock sounds and enough for lead with that even. So the intro of this video just had the gain set at about 7 for the little lead part and everything. Well, really for the whole clip. Like I say, it's got plenty to give you some great lead sounds, and I really like the middle area though, because it's such a nice punchy rock sound with lots of clarity. So anyway, so we'll listen to some other clips and check out what else this thing can do. Okay, so let's hear how the amp does with a couple of pedals in front of it. I've got it on the clean channel with just a moderate setting. It's kind of loud in here, but the knobs are not really that far up, so it's a nice clean sound that we still got here. I've rolled the middle back just a little bit to about 4.5 or so, and the depth knob is at is on C, which is like halfway. Add just a little bit of low end, and then the pedals that I've got here, the Maxon OD9, which is basically just a really nice tube screamer, and I've got an MXR Dynacomp, which is a pretty standard guitar compressor pedal. So the clean sound, when I add the Maxon to it, it seems to blend nicely with the sound of the amp. We get a nice realistic overdrive. Okay, so then when I add the MXR Dynacomp to that clean sound, we'll just get. Sounds pretty natural. So now let's put the two together, and you get a pretty nice smooth overdrive sound. Okay, so pretty cool sound. You get a little bit of noise when you put all those things in front of the amp, but really it works great. It's again just another great ability of this amplifier. It has a lot of great sound built in, very useful levels of overdrive and EQ, and then it does great with pedals in front of it. It's not really a whole lot more you could ask for. Anyway, I think that's pretty well the standard, set of features on this amp, and we'll just hear a little bit more of it as I play you out. hope you've enjoyed checking out the Andrews Para Dyne 50 with me today, and just join us here for more reviews of great equipment on guitarbreakdown.com. Thank you very much.